And let's go ahead and go through this injury breakdown. So I'm going to be going through alphabetical order as per usual. And I'm going to speed run through all of this, and I'm going to say day to day, and I'll just explain like what kind of injuries they have for this day to day. So we start with the Atlanta Hawks. So Seth Lundy, he's a guard. He's going to be day to day, and it's apparently an ankle injury that is going to be, as he was limited in training camp this week. And Onyeka Okongwu, excuse me, I always mess up that last name, has a toe injury and is not 100% healthy, so he's also going to be day to day. The Boston Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis, obviously one of the more important pieces of the Boston Celtics, and he underwent surgery. He has a foot injury, and it's a very rare injury that's going to most likely sideline him until December 1st. That's his estimated return. Bojan Bogdanovic for the Brooklyn Nets has a foot injury and is said to be day-to-day, and his estimated return is going to be on October 23rd when he's going to be playing full minutes. Now, for the Chicago Bulls, Lonzo Ball, he's been injured for a very long time, and with a knee injury, he's had several setbacks throughout his career, and he's going to be day-to-day with an estimated return on October 8th. Again, he's going to be day-to-day. Giddey on the Chicago Bulls as well. He's going to be day-to-day after suffering an ankle sprain during the Paris Olympics. And those are all the players on the Chicago that are injured. Dallas, this is actually the big team, and the reason why I actually decided to do this. So Luka Doncic recently underwent a calf injury on Monday's preseason opener against the Grizzlies, and obviously, like he's going to be day to day. His estimated return is going to be on October 24th. Kyrie Irving's estimated return as well is going to be on October 24th, as on Monday he said that he surgically repaired his left hand and is doing much better ahead of training camp. He's also going to be day to day. Maxi Kleber is another player that's going to be day to day power forward for the Dallas Mavericks. Suffered an ankle sprain. And Kessler Edwards is also going to be day-to-day, as he also has a sprained ankle. Now, for the Denver Nuggets. Now, no one important for the Denver Nuggets is essentially hurt. However, Peyton Watson, a forward, is going to be day-to-day, and he wouldn't participate in Thursday's practice due to a hamstring discomfort. Deron Holmes II is going to be out with an estimated return until July 1st. So that could affect their center depth, but again, Jokic is a monster, so I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be fine. Jalen Pickett is expected to return on October 4th, same with Peyton Watson, and they're both going to be day-to-day, and Pickett did not play on Saturday's Summer League game against the Pelicans due to a left groin soreness. Now, for the Pistons, Ausar Thompson is going to be day-to-day with an expected return on October 6th. And the Detroit president of basketball operations said on Monday that Thompson's illness will be limited to open training camp this week. And now the Golden State Warriors, they have Andrew Wiggins on day-to-day for October and is expected to return on October 5th, as Wiggins did not participate in Tuesday's practice due to an illness. The Indiana Pacers, Johnny Furphy, forward, is going to be day-to-day, and his estimated return is October 8th, as Furphy is dealing with tweaks to both ankles and did not practice on Thursday, and will not practice today, excuse me. Now, James Wiseman, who they recently acquired in a trade, is going to be day-to-day as well and is expected to return on October 8th, as the Packers coach Rick Carlisle said on Monday that Wiseman is dealing with a groin injury, or a groin issue. Next, the Clippers. Now, Kawhi Leonard, of course, is going to be day-to-day. This is not new for Kawhi Leonard, but more so here because he suffered a knee injury that ultimately did not allow him to play in the Olympics, and he will be held out in 5v5 action for Wednesday's practice. Mo Bamba for the Clippers is expected to return on October 5th. He is day-to-day, and he did not partake in the scrimmages either. And Trenton Flowers, he's a guard, is expected to return on October 23rd, and he's also day-to-day. Next, The Lakers. Now, the Lakers, they have a lot of players that are injured. Now, Christian Wood isn't expected to return until November 4th. He is out as he underwent successful arthroscopic surgical procedure on his left knee. So he's going to return on November 4th. Christian Koloko is going to be day-to-day, and his estimated return to health is going to be October 22nd as he's suffering from an illness. And Jared Vanderbilt is also going to be day-to-day, estimated to return October 22nd. He has a foot injury. Cam Reddish is going to be day-to-day, expected to return on opening day, and but still he's going to be day-to-day. And he did not participate in 5v5 practice on Tuesday due to soreness. And Jordan Goodwin is going to be day-to-day, expected to return on opening night. And he did not partake in Tuesday's practice due to a hamstring issue. So again, might be day-to-day. Next is the Memphis Grizzlies. So Gigi Jackson II is expected to return December 19th. Very important piece for the Memphis Grizzlies. However, they do have Ja Morant healthy. He's not on this injury report. And he underwent a successful procedure to prepare his broken fifth metatarsal. I'm not a doctor, so forgive me if I messed up that word, but he's expected to return December 19th. Vince Williams Jr. is expected to return October 23rd. He's going to be day-to-day, and along with Cam Spencer, who's going to return October 14th. He's also day-to-day, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is also day-to-day, expected to return October 23rd. He's dealing with a hamstring injury as well. Now, next team on this list is the Miami Heat. Josh Richardson is going to be day-to-day and is expected to return October 8th as he has a shoulder injury and is going to be limited at the start of training camp. Chris Middleton is obviously for the Milwaukee Bucks. He is suffering ankle injuries, yes, more than one. He's going to be day-to-day and is expected to return October 6th. And he was participating in everything except live scrimmages on practice. So day-to-day seems to make sense. Julius Randle is going to be day-to-day as well. And he also recently he also had a shoulder injury, which ultimately sidelined him for the majority of the postseason. In fact, throughout the entirety of the postseason and towards the end of the season. And Keita Bates-Diop is another forward that is also going to be day-to-day. And the Knicks traded Diop alongside with Randle, but he has a shin injury this time. So he's going to be day-to-day and he's expected to play October 4th, but still day-to-day. Now, for the Knicks, obviously, Mitchell Robinson, their best... they're one of their best rim protecting centers for the New York Knicks. I do see that comment right there. I'm going to acknowledge that, but I do want to speed through this. Now, Mitchell Robinson, he's going to be out with an ankle injury, expected to return December 1st. OKC, Nikola Topic is going to be out and is expected to return July 1st as he underwent an ACL procedure Wednesday. It was successful, but he's going to miss most of the season. And Kenrich Williams is going to be day-to-day, expected to return October 24th. And so is Alex Dukas, but he's expected to return October 7th. He's also day-to-day. Next, the Phoenix Suns. Ryan Dunn is going to be day-to-day, and he has left knee soreness, and he's still expected to return October 6th, but still not 100%. The Sacramento Kings, Devin Carter, the guard, is going to be out and is expected to return January 10th. And they announced that Carter underwent successful surgery. Trey Lyles, he's going to be day-to-day, expected to return October 24th. And the rest of the players that are day-to-day are Kevin Huerter and Jordan McLaughlin. McLaughlin is expected to also return October 24th, and Kevin Huerter is expected to return October 9th. Huerter has a shoulder injury, and McLaughlin has 2 right ankle sprains. Now, the San Antonio Spurs. Devin Vassell is going to be out until November 2nd. That's his estimated return. He's with a foot injury. Charles Bassey is expected to be day-to-day and returning October 7th with a knee injury. And David Duke is expected to return October 7th. He's going to be day-to-day, and it's undisclosed exactly why he's on the injury report. Now, the Raptors. by far the most injury-riddled team so far. So Scotty Barnes, he's expected to be day-to-day, and for personal reasons, he will not be available for training camp. And he's expected to return October 6th. Bruce Brown, also going to be day-to-day, expected to return October 23rd. Jacoby Walter, again, day-to-day. Grady Dick, day-to-day. Jonathan Magbo, day-to-day. Ochai Agbaji, day-to-day. DJ Carton, day-to-day. And Chris Boucher, day-to-day. Now, Grady Dick, all the way down, is going to be expected to return October 6th, but Bruce Brown and Jacoby Walter are expected to return October 23rd. And finally, the Washington Wizards. Sadiq Bey is going to be out and is expected to return December 3rd. And he's just out for up until that allotted time. It doesn't really give any context on why he's going to be out. So that's all the teams that have injuries. And before I go into a break with the next segment, I do want to acknowledge somebody in the chat. Yo, man, his name is Nick. What's going on, Nick? I don't know if you do fantasy football advice, but it seems like you do. Should I start Rashad White or Kareem Hunt? That is a very, very good question, honestly. Now, if you really want a very solid opinion on who you should start, then we do have a fantasy football podcast. So you can go ahead and tune into that whenever that goes live, and you can actually ask the host of that fantasy football podcast to see what he thinks, and you'd get a much better sort of opinion and a much better advice from him than you were to get from me. I do play fantasy football, but that is a very, very solid question that I don't really think I can answer here since it's, basketball podcast. And I think you'd get a lot more out of asking our host for the fantasy football podcast, or even the sports podcast that's going to go live directly after my live. And if you really want a solid opinion on fantasy football, then I'd recommend tuning into those podcasts and listening to So when will that podcast be? So the sports podcast is going to be directly after my podcast. And so mine should be scheduled to end at around 1:30, and his is supposed to be scheduled to start, I believe, at 2:00. So if you want to tune in immediately and try to get the best advice before the game tonight and before the NFL week starts, I recommend tuning into that sports podcast and asking his opinion and what he thinks who he thinks you should start. And as for the fantasy football podcast, I actually don't really know when that starts. I don't know if that starts after mine or if that even starts, before the game later tonight. So again, if you really want a good football opinion, I recommend going into the sports podcast. He's going to start at 2:00, and you should really tune into that and see exactly what he has to say to that question. So yeah, you'd get a much better answer from him than you would from me. Even though I would honestly, personally, I'd take Kareem Hunt, but again, he might have a different answer. So he might have a completely different answer than I do, and it might be more thought out than I do, because that was a football question that sort of sprung on me. So I apologize for that. But with that out of the way, that is the end of the second segment anyway. So now we can go ahead into the third segment, where I talk about some off-season moves that could end up being detrimental for some teams. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.